this TLC of IIT BHU, and I think this program started on Monday, right? 10th of February. Anybody can comment?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So you have a very brief understanding about this sensitization program for all the college professors. So we are also an institute, and so basically now I'm also your colleague, okay, and we can have very nice discussion, and slowly we will build up the subject. And I am given today a very important topic of holistic education. So we will have some discussion, and I will be happy to share with you our experience at IIT BHU, which might be useful for you, because you are basically handling different types of students in your colleges. So quickly giving a brief introduction about BHU. You all know it's a more than 100-year-old university, and we were the engineering division of BHU, that is the IT BHU, and 2012 we got converted to IIT BHU, like other IITs like Kanpur, Bombay, Delhi, Kharagpur, etc. And BHU already has their academic staff college, where they'll conduct a lot of training programs for the faculty. So this is I think it's very important, because as the technology is very rapidly changing, I should be capable of handling and incorporating those techniques into my teaching. And when I attend some training program, then I develop a lot of clarity, and based on that I be a better teacher. So in principle, I believe that all the institutions should have one teaching learning center. So our TLC, now the name is changed to CFDET, probably. This is Center for Faculty Development and Educational Technology. So so BHU used to have the training for the faculty members, especially who are joining after doing a lot of research, but they may not have some adequate training for teaching, how to teach and deliver your content in a very efficient manner, so that students appreciate, they understand, and ultimately they retain the concepts into their brains, and they can deliver during exam and other things also, and get job and be a better informed citizen. So with this in mind, as soon as we became IIT, we started this TLC, and there I am associated with our TLC from the very beginning, because I personally believe that it also helps me a lot in improving my pedagogy and skills and other things. And we used to invite eminent professors from IIT Madras, IIT Delhi, and other places to discuss and deliberate on very important topics. And on a similar note, now this NEP that is implemented, and though we are going a little slow, but from this July we are fully implementing the NEP 2020, that we got the necessary approvals. And we will also discuss briefly the structure of NEP, because that will help us to understand that that while this curriculum and the structure is getting changed because of this NEP, so this topic, that holistic education, multidisciplinary education and other things are also very, very important. So we can very easily be able to have some kind of amalgamation between this NEP 2020 and those topics, and you will be an informed and very much better teacher for your institution and for your students. So on a personal note, I have done my bachelor's in chemical engineering from Jadavpur University, Kolkata, and then MTech PhD from IIT Kanpur, and I joined IIT BHU in 2014. And then since then I am associated with our TLC. And so with this brief introduction, and apart from this vertical, I am also interested to carry out front end research. on the renewable energy domain, biomass to biofuels and other energetic gases. So if you want, you can collaborate with me. It's fine. I'll appreciate that. And also I have been teaching many courses like petroleum related courses, then energy, then heat transfer and process calculations, fluid mechanics, and things like that. So so without wasting further time of you, let me just share the presentation, and we'll slowly go on and develop the subject. Okay, so let me share the entire screen. So are you able to see the presentation slide?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay, fine. So now I have opened this PPT. So means I can't see myself and the other participants, but that's not a problem. So so in between, if you see any problem in the network issue or something else, please just ask me. Okay, then I will go back and try to resolve the problem. But otherwise, I think this PPT will slowly progress. And I have 2 sessions today. The first session is on the holistic education, and around 2:15 to 2:30 we will have some kind of question answer session. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to discuss. And I will also would like to learn from your experiences, because you are coming from maybe non-science or non-engineering background, many of you. So you will handle students from different background, so that different problems they might raise, and that will be an enriching experience for us also. And then we will take a short break of about 10-15 minutes. And then we will discuss the second topic, that is basically the multidisciplinary education. Okay, so this all you know, as you all know, that it is supported by UGC, that Malaviya Mission Teacher Training Program of Ministry of Education and Government of India. And we are now organizing this lecture NEP program for you on behalf of this CFDET, that's Center for Faculty Development and Educational Technology. Earlier it was TLC, as I told you, of IIT BHU Varanasi. Okay, and some of you might have visited BHU or Varanasi already, so you might appreciate the place, and you are welcome to visit our institute. Okay, so now coming to this, I would like to to start with, I would like to thank the coordinator, Professor Shyam Kamal, and the co-coordinator, Professor A.K. Mishra, who have their trust on me, and I have been delivering special lectures for the participants from more than 1 year. Okay, so last year February we started, and now it's February going on. So I'm pretty happy that I will. Hopefully I will also have a very fruitful session with you, and you can note down your questions. You can ask me at the end, and if you have any question in between, please raise your voice, because otherwise I won't be able to see that if you raise your hand, and because I'm not able to see the main screen, just see the PPT. Okay, so so since we have to develop the subject of holistic education based on the fundamentals of NEP. So I thought it's important to quickly look at the some salient features of National Education Policy, or it's also the New Education Policy 2020. We will see the structure and other details. Then we will have some discussion on the holistic education, its principles, how to implement that, and a couple of examples. And I'll also share a few examples from abroad, where I had a chance to visit some universities in USA. Their structure, how to do research and other things. And finally, we'll talk about the multidisciplinary education, its important factors, and summarize. Okay, so So the thing is that if you are aware about the Indian academic scenario, you see that there are if you just focus on the student, then you will understand that there are a lot of problems in a sense that people don't have access, say to schools or good colleges, especially those students who are from a remote area. So this is one problem, and due to the family structures, as soon as they are little grown up, they have to take care of the younger kids and younger siblings, and then they have to drop out. That is another problem. Then malnutrition, and then medical facilities, technology access, and road connectivity, drinking water, electricity. So there are many issues. So I think keeping this in mind and to implement the better things which is going on in other part of the world into our academic curriculum, the government of India has introduced this NEP 2020, and with this we want to prepare our address all those issues, minimize the reduce the dropout rate, and to prepare our youth for employability and to face the current and future challenges, right? So there are some few pillars of NEP access. Means everybody should have access to quality educational content. Okay, equity, equality, those things we will discuss. I think all of you already know that. We'll talk about quality because quality is very important. If suppose even if I am qualified, but I don't deliver the content which is having good quality, then basically it is a loss to the student, and that will be affecting their further growth. For example, if I'm a maths teacher, I'm very good at mathematics, but I'm not teaching with my sincerity, so I won't be able to impart quality education, and that will be a loss to the students. So when they will go to the next class, they will suffer. They will have some difficulty in solving the advanced level of mathematics problems. Then all these things, we should try to make it affordable for the people who are, maybe you can say below poverty line, BPL, or maybe more poorer than them also. And all the stakeholders, means who are serving this student community, like the faculty as well as the supporting staff, we all should have accountability, right? Because I have prepared my material. That for that a faculty has to spend a lot of time, and then if I don't get adequate support from the staff who are running this TLC, then it will be difficult for me to smoothly deliver my lecture. So they are also in the back end, but they are doing their part with utmost sincerity and making it comfortable for me to deliver my lecture to you. Okay. And that the right to education, that is very important fundamental right of a person. So that is got increased from 14 to 18. So that is also important for our country, because people with awareness, the basic minimum age of people will also that they have the awareness, that is also going to, the percentage should go up, because if somebody trying to make me fool, then I should be able to understand that this is I'm being fooled, so I can save myself. For example, nowadays a lot of cybercrime and many other things are going on. So in any aspect, okay, so if I'm an illiterate person, then I can be fooled by in any kirana store, like grocery shop also, right? And other facets. So those things are very important. So now, as I told you that we should also think of equity. It is not only the equality but also equity, which is playing a very important role. It is because perhaps many of you might have already seen this figure. It is my very favorite picture. It's because you see that as a teacher, if I want to do justice, there are 50 or 30 students in the class. I give the lecture. I clear their doubts during the class hours, and I think that I have imparted equal education. I believe in equality and all these things. However, in the context of NEP 2020, the equality is not sufficient. Okay, so we should also think about equity. It's because there might be some students who is having some problem from his background, like the primary level or elementary level, that he is not good at, say for example, a subject called history, okay, or maybe mathematics. So then I will try to, I should try to spend more time with him to be able to make him more comfortable on that particular subject of language or mathematics, etc. And in a college, and you might also, if you're lucky, you might also get some help of the PG students who might be requested to act as a tutor or the teaching assistants to clear their doubts beyond the classroom hours. And if that is also not sufficient, we can also make an arrangement that in the hostel, maybe there is some common room in the hostel or library, there some kind of discussion place or discussion hour can be scheduled, and the students can come and the TA can explain them during the night time, so that we should have the infrastructure in place that we provide equality, and at the same time we also take care about those students who are little bit taking more time, or some, you can say this, especially challenged or something like that. And for them also we provide the platform that we are there, I am there, the tutor is there, TA is there to help him to clear their doubts, help them to solve the problems, and raise their level of competence, and enable them to do good in the exams, and achieve whatever they want to achieve in their life, right? Now this NEP 2020, earlier we were very much comfortable with this 10+2 system, and that's still going on. And we are we have with the implementation of this NEP 2020, we see that there's a change, and we are breaking it down into the scheme of 5+3+3+4 system. So you see that how these first 5 years, they are very, very important for a child. So when its age is basically from 3 to 8 years, or we can say this, they are going to the preschool or Anganwadi, means they're able to, you can say, just walk, and maybe they're able to speak, and other things they need some kind of assistance. Okay, so in that level, we and then they go to class 1 and class 2 at this 5-year this period. So the main focus of a teacher or facilitator should be that the play and activity-based learning method. That method we should try to follow, the play and activity-based learning and development of language skills. So we should be able to talk, and I should be able to tell that I am thirsty, I need drinking water, I suppose, all these things. And then there is this 3 years of preparatory stage from age 8 to 11, and then typically the kid or the child should be in class 3, 4 or 5, and then we will little bit focus more on development of language and numeracy skills. Then play and activity based teaching methods, like suppose I am presenting a ball, like volleyball, having different colors. So what we do, the ball, that I can also explain, and at the same time I can explain that it consists of red, brown, green, blue, etc., those colors. And we should also enhance the classroom interactions, then also reading, writing, and some kind of speaking sessions, and obviously we should have some physical education and art. Okay, and we'll try to emphasize all these things. All these teaching delivery method should be probably on the mother tongue, so that the kid becomes strong on the mother tongue. Okay, now the third stage, again 11 to 14 years age, that is the duration for the age of the particular boy or girl. They are in the middle stage. Typically he's supposed to study in class 6 to 8. Then we'll focus on the critical learning objectives, experiential learning in science. Means you can say this is a project-based learning, or some kind of learning by doing, and then also some maths, arts, social science, humanities, etc. And finally, the secondary stage, which is the fourth part, that is basically the age group of 14 to 18 years, and the student is supposed to be between 9 to 12. Then we will focus on the multidisciplinary education and develop critical thinking. Then flexibility. We should have flexibility in the curriculum and their choice of subjects. Okay. So now in the graduation level, that many of you know that the government is promoting the 4-year undergraduate program, It is because that when a student wants to do PhD in abroad, then a 3-year undergraduate program like BSc, BCom, or BA, that is not considered. Okay, so that you should have a 4-year undergraduate program, or you should also have some kind of 2-year MSc, MA, or MCom program. And to align with that, and another point is if you make the undergraduate curriculum consisting of 4 years, then you can incorporate some that is this is called the internship for the particular student. They are supposed to go to some industry, or for the other subjects they can also go to some work in some office. For example, someone is in commerce, so they can go to some factory or some office where the accounts section, he can work in the accounts section and learn many things. Okay, so that will give him some kind of exposure that if after completing the degree, if he gets a job, he will be able to comfortably work towards that for the company. Okay, so now in this 4-year undergraduate program that in IIT BHU also we are going to implement from this July, we are going to implement that in the 6th semester. Okay, the student is expected to go outside the campus, and if possible he goes to some industry and carries out the internship, or and then if the work is good and the company permits, he can also extend that internship up to the summer also. For example, this typically the 6th semester, it will be the even semester, so it will start in the first week of January, so it will end in April middle, and then typically there should be some in-semester exam. But many other courses are being shifted so that the student can continue both in the month of May and June, right? So then again he can come back, and in July he can carry out the 7th semester studies. So the main advantage of that is that the student gets some good amount of time to work in that particular industry, and the industry develops some perception that that this guy is sincere and does his work with efficiency, so he can be hired for the job. So at the end of the 7th semester, there's typically the placement activity occurs, organized by the TPO, Training and Placement Office. So that through that TPO activity, the student can get job in the same company where he has undergone training. So that would probably increase the likelihood of the student to get a job, and improves the overall placement scenario for the individual college. For example, now that this BHU has many departments. So if the students get some kind of this internship opportunities across the nearby industries, especially there is a place called Ramnagar where you will see that a lot of industries are there. If the industries are also sensitized by the university administration and government of India and the state government, that you should encourage the students to carry out, then they will be able to do this hands-on activity while pursuing this internship, and that will help. They will make them employable. Okay, because they already have some kind of soft skills and also other hands-on activities they have mastered themselves apart from the studying a few courses. Okay, so this internship is a very important thing, and that is going to really help the students to be a better engineer. Like for us, our field, I'm talking like that. For your case, you will correlate accordingly. And I think they are going to abolish MPhil, because that undergraduation, and then there could be this in your field there could be B.Ed, and after that they can do the PhD, or after direct like MSc through NET they can do the PhD, or for our engineering after BTech they can write the GATE exam and do the PhD. Okay, though after the corona outbreak, COVID-19 period, then we see that maybe somehow the jobs are available. So particularly in engineering, very few students are coming for the PhD. So that is going to create one problem in our Indian education sector, because then particularly those NITs and central universities and state universities, typically the eligibility is going to be PhD. So it will be difficult to for us to hire the faculty members, and that might impact the quality of the outgoing BTech students. So that is something which probably in NEP we should have more deliberations and try to improve the PhD enrollment. Okay. Now, some important facets of NEP 2020 is also like the academic bank of credit, because whatever credit you have earned, that will be stored, okay, and that can be transferred if there is a need. Like I'll give you an example. Like one faculty was there, he started PhD, and after coursework there was a problem, so he shifted to the IIT BHU, and the credits which he had earned by doing this coursework that were transferred to IIT BHU, and he didn't have to attend the further courses, and then he directly could start the thesis, means research part. So those kind of flexibility, if it is given between all the institutions approved by AICT or UGC and whatever universities, then it will be easy for the students to migrate to other place, or maybe if there is a need, he can also store it, and after suppose he's taking a break, going for a job, after that he's coming back to do PhD, then some kind of help he can get with this academic bank of credit. And then there is a multidisciplinary education and research university. So this is the main objective is to emulate the teaching learning methods of ancient India, where there the students have to stay along with the guru, and they not only receive the teaching, but also they learn many things by looking at the life of the guru, because guru has to train them in the discipline and other things also. So in the higher education spectrum, we have this after we implement this NEP 2020, we have this flexible undergraduate program that there is something called creative practice that we have started. At IIT BHU, we have done a lot of experiment with that, and we have seen that this is really beneficial for the students. And then the credit-based systems that there are several segments, like from management, from humanistic studies, from science, from engineering, from vocational part. So every segment, every vertical, there are certain range of credits. So if you are within those range of credits which you have already earned, you can be given the BTech degree. Like some IITs have started that if you just take one course extra, and if you are very intelligent, then you can also get the BTech after the completion of 3.5 years. Okay, and for the normal students, now they are bringing the flexibility that in the 8th semester you can work in the industry, and then you get the degree and finally carry out your job, or you can also work for your own startup or work in some startup, and those flexibilities are coming. And vocational education and internships are incorporated into the curriculum, right? So the 21st century skills, they call for the importance of analytical and critical thinking, then experiential learning, and also creativity, because that the product which is there, which is new today, tomorrow it might be obsolete. So we should foster the creativity among the students. So even I think all of you know that every university or institute or IIT, they have these innovation cell. There we encourage students to come up with ideas, and we help them try to implement that or make the product, or say like people are working on drone, robot, and many other things also, maybe some chip, semiconductor chip, and things like that. And to accommodate those things, we should have some kind of reduced curriculum. So that we suppose it is BTech in civil engineering, so we will retain the basic the core courses which are essential for the students to learn in order to get the BTech degree in civil engineering. But we also incorporate some latest courses, where there is some introduction of artificial intelligence, or say for example data science, and so on and so forth. So this NEP 2020 proposes establishment of a robust framework for continuous professional development, ensuring that teachers are equipped with the necessary skills and knowledge to deliver effective and learner-centric education. Okay, so maybe some classes the teacher will describe about the flipped classroom, and those new things are coming up. Then MWC, MOOC, and also with that you might be already familiar. Okay, so this use of technology in education, that is very, very important and can't avoid. Even I am using this technology of that Google Classroom, then PPT and all these things. So the preparing the digital content, for that a teacher needs to be properly trained. Okay, and the institute should establish the digital infrastructure, a good quality Wi-Fi system, so that anybody can log in and they can get the material or take a lecture, or a student can access those good quality presentations of different professors, or maybe you all know that NPTEL, that also is very, very inexpensive and good quality for the students, and they are supplementing their knowledge by studying those courses from NPTEL and getting good score in GATE exams and similar exams, right? Then utilization of online platforms for learning and assessment, and assessment feedback, that is very, very important for the teacher also. So we should impartially try to take feedback from the students. That helps helps improve the quality of my teaching only, right? Then there is early childhood care and education. Okay, for the especially who are very, very young at age, and play-based and activity-based learning, and that will help the student to develop the strong foundation, like in his or her cognitive, social, and emotional developments. Okay, now coming to this holistic education, I'm going to start the topic on holistic education shortly, but before that, from the this discussion so far, if you have any doubt, you can just ask me. Okay. So this holistic education, it is a little bit, you can say broad.
Actually, multiple entry or multiple exit का concept में थोड़ा सा अगर brief कर सकते हैं तो.
Yeah, very good. So this, in reality, what will happen, that I don't know, because we are going to implement from this July. But what policy which we are now discussing, it will be refined and fine-tuned and implemented. So one is that if the student wants to leave the say BTech program after 2 years, then we will try to give him a diploma. Okay, earlier concept, if he leaves or he has to leave after 2 years, he will not get anything. So particularly if you see that for like IIT, NIT system or central universities, this kind of scenario does not occur. But for other places, maybe the student is from a remote location and there is some family emergency, so he had to discontinue his studies. So if he gets a diploma, he might be able to get some job. And we're giving some flexibility to the student that within next 7 years, he can come back and rejoin the BTech program. Then he has to submit the diploma and continue for another 2 years, and we will give him the BTech degree, right? So now you see that in our country is basically this degree and getting a job, these are basically very, very rigid. Like if you don't have a degree, then whatever is your knowledge, it will be difficult for you to proceed. Like suppose there is a faculty who is not a PhD but has very good knowledge. So there might be problem in the promotion and other things. So similarly, if we give this flexibility that, okay, if you have done a diploma in electrical engineering from an IIT or say NIT, then the first 2 years, basically what he does some basic physics, chemistry, mathematics, English, computer science or computer labs, and then some few courses on electrical engineering. Then he's capable of joining and deliver some work as a diploma engineer on electrical engineering. And after that, if his condition is favorable, he can come back and rejoin. So this multiple exit and multiple entry, I think this is one example of multiple exit, multiple entry. But though I have given you example of single exit and single entry, but those things are in IIT system, we have the flexibility that we have a board of governors, BHU. So though we are broadly under government of India, but sorry, we enjoy the autonomy that we can there is an important case, and that can be put up in the student senate or maybe the board of BHU. And if BHU thinks the genuineness or merit of the case, and recommends in favor, then say for example, multiple entry or multiple exit can also be permitted. So how you will do this for a college where you know that it is not vocational, not engineering? That it depends on how they're implementing. Now, I heard that I think from last year or maybe a little bit early, BHU also has started in a 4-year undergraduate program. So, so here I have only one concern, that if it is implemented, that means earlier it was three-year program. Now you have expanded your coursework, lab, and all these things. Fine. Now suppose if you have 1 semester of internship, that is also for a student. For the student, it is very good, but at the same time, there should be some government pressure on the nearby industries, say within 50 or kilometers, 100 kilometers of the university. The student will be absorbed by those industries for doing the internship work. If the industries are not interested, then the student has more difficulty. He has to travel far away. Then for IIT students, some companies, majority of the companies, they give some kind of fellowship, okay, internship amount, maybe 10,000, something like that. But if the company doesn't pay and the student has to pay from his pocket for this accommodation, food, and all these things, then it will be difficult. So I think there should be very interactive and thorough deliberation between the industries and nearby academic institutions, and then we can make the best output of this of this process of this internship within this BTech program. And also we should be able to minimize the dropout rate. Like if the student is allowed to leave and come back, so there might be some loss of few years, but the companies also know that this student had some personal problem, but he had the first 2 years of knowledge. Then he continued this, and then he has got this BTech degree. Like in case of diploma, you see that there are there is something called AMI, Associate Member of Institute of Engineers. So if you pass a couple of subjects, then you are getting this AMI that is equivalent to BTech. Okay, but while taking the interview for the particular candidate, if I get say another 5 applicants who have done BTech and 1 candidate who has done AMI, then there is some kind of I may think that why he didn't do BTech, and those kind of non-judgmental issues might come. So the government should sort of help industries to overcome this bias, that the student are allowed to take multiple entry, multiple exit scheme, and that has nothing to do with his professional growth or his competence. You just judge his competence based on whatever your exam and all these things are there. But it should be considered as other persons who have done BTech and some experiences. Okay, so I think I could talk a little bit about your query. Is it done?
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Oh, okay, fine. So now coming to this holistic education, that it is not only the pedagogy, like the content, like I am teaching, say for example, medieval history, or say for example, heat transfer or fluid mechanics. So that is some kind of you can say content. That content I am delivering in the class, student is understanding. But if you just think a little bit in deep, you will understand that all these things have a relationship with his his overall well-being. Because if he is not able to follow a particular subject, doesn't get good marks, then he might be suffering from peer pressure. He might get demoralized or depressed or something like that. So in case of holistic education, we should try to develop the intelligence of the student, not only into this academic, but also some social intelligence, his emotional intelligence, spiritual intelligence, and so on and so forth. For example, in a subject, suppose there is a mid-semester exam and end-semester exam, and due to the problems, suppose he had a viral fever or something else, he couldn't do well in the mid-semester exam. So if he has this emotional intelligence, then he will be able to convince himself, and maybe with the help of his friends and other counseling services, that okay, with proper preparation and hard work, he can really do well in the end semester exam and get an overall very good grade for the particular course. So nothing to worry about it. So similarly, spiritual intelligence and these are also important. Like if he wants to practice some, he believes in his religion and wants to practice something, he will also be able to understand that has nothing to do with the subject. Okay, that will help his mind to come down, to achieve more focus, and all these things will be benefited. Okay, so basically through this holistic education, we want to focus on the development of the whole person as a whole, right? So we talk about take care of the mind. This takes care of the mind, then body, then emotions and spirits. Okay, so in academic setting, what we try to do is that apart from this coursework, that we couple with laboratory work. So they have to do a couple of experiments in the lab hours inside the lab, and after that, to take care of their well-being, we should have an arrangement of sports that helps them to keep their body fit, and also some recreation. Okay, like some TV sets in the hostels and all these things. And there is sometimes we conduct the competition, say a volleyball competition, then carom, and maybe some drawing or things like that. So that all these things put together help them to develop a better level for their mind, body, emotion, spirit, and so on and so forth. Okay, so now this that's STEM. STEM, we all are familiar with this STEM. What is this STEM? It's basically science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Okay, so like you say that if you are good at STEM education, you can get a better job in US and other developed countries. But however, we should also incorporate the word A, letter A, which represents arts. Okay, so that's why now we are more focusing on not only the STEM but also the STEAM, STEAM. Okay, so once you being a student of a core engineering, if the students spend some time on the arts, he suppose anything, any drawing or something else or some sculpture, then basically different part of the brain gets activated, and his overall intelligence increases, so that the student has to understand and appreciate, like many of us already know that the most intelligent person, or I can say at least the very intelligent person, Professor Albert Einstein, used to play on the violin. Okay, so that is far away from your solving mathematical equations or explaining the physical phenomena based on the concepts of physics and mathematics, but also playing some notes in violin. So that's also on one hand it is relaxing for the particular part of the brain, and for other part of the brain it is enriching. Okay, and overall it is developing the emotional well-being of the particular person. Okay, so this as I told that it is it recognizes that individuals are multidimensional beings. That means we cannot say that this student is just a photocopy of another student. Every student is coming from different background, so they have diverse needs and at the same time diverse abilities that we have to understand. And as an institute, we should try to help them develop their abilities. Yesterday I was going through a presentation of one Indian person in Japan, and he was talking about the fact that as a teacher we think that a student is basically an empty basket, and our job is to fill it with say mathematics, English, and blah blah, this mechanical engineering and arts and all these things subjects. But it is not our job. Our job is to work as a facilitator. What is the meaning? Meaning is that he gave an example of an apple seed. The seed is very, very small, maybe just 1 or 2 millimeter by 1 or 2 millimeter, and thickness might be 1 millimeter. Now it is difficult to see these, difficult to hold in hand. It's so tiny, and if you by mistake try to chew that apple seed, it will be very, very bitter. Okay, but if you give that seed to a gardener, okay, or a mali. What he will do, he will just give the nourishment, that he will create the environment so that the student or that particular seed can flourish. Okay, so the right condition of fertilizer, water, soil, sunlight, and one day we will get that hundreds of apples and year after year. Okay, that means that potential is already there within this particular seed or the particular kid. Okay, we just have to encourage them and explain them that you have the potential. Just you try and find out which you like the most, and as a facilitator I will help you to achieve your goal. And suppose if you're good at maths, fine, no problem. If you are not so good at chemistry, I will help you to get mastery over chemistry, so that overall you can really excel in your all approaches, okay, exams. So though this class strength is large, we can think of some personalized learning. That is little difficult, because for a faculty we have to devote a lot of time. And however, that we if possible we should try, right? Because a holistic approach allows for personalized learning experiences tailored to each student's unique interests, strengths, and learning styles. Okay, like if the student is good at, say, playing cricket, so and if we don't have that facility, don't have a ground, don't have that team and a coach and all these things, so then the student will basically able to develop his skills only in the studies, not on sports. Okay, on the other hand, just think about this scenario that we have this ground and other facilities. We have a coach who comes, say, thrice in a week or twice in a week, and then the student can also flourish in his studies as well as the other extracurricular activity, and he can bring a lot of reputation for the school or for the college or the institute in that inter-college tournaments, right? So similarly, that is the case with we have this technical fest where students go to other IITs, and students from other institutes also and other IITs also come to IIT BHU, and there is a platform that if someone has developed some particular machine, he gets a chance to show that this machine can solve this problem, right? So if we promote this personalized learning, it fosters a deeper understanding of concepts and promotes intrinsic motivation. Okay, so suppose one thing he's able to do with the help of the TA or the teacher and the institute, then he basically becomes very happy, first of all. And once he is happy, then he develops more passion to develop functionality into the particular machine, and tries to sort of solve bigger problems, right? So should understand a few key elements of personalized learning. That is the first of all, you should understand the learner profile. Okay, if someone is good at understanding, and he's not able to explain because of some say communication problem, then we should focus on the communication gap, and for him we have to arrange for more communication sessions, like we also call it a language lab. There we can have some few students where he will get a chance to talk, and that will be recorded, and he will be explained that okay, you have to practice, and again after 1 week you have to again talk on this particular topic, or there will be a general discussion. So slowly he will get a chance, and then he will be able to improve his communication skills significantly. So and with this help of the teachers, he will be able to chart out this personal learning path and be able to follow. Then it will help the individual mastery, and we should also remember that flexible learning environment, if the student is sort of as part of the curriculum, we have these exams, but at the same time we should have some take-home exams, or you can say assignments, or group-wise projects, where we can have some 10-20% weightages, where they can also learn by doing. They make a group. In the group, they particular say, for example, that how to solve the problem of plastic waste. Okay, and in the context of municipal solid waste management and all these things. So So these the strict syllabus and the method of exams may be changed and supplemented with a couple of project work and assignment based learning, or you can say this part of the experiential learning, so that this flexibility will help them to learn and grow in a much better manner. Okay, and we can also take help of some student agency. They can also come and help the students to find out the area where they are weak, and help them to improve those areas, like interpersonal skills and communication skills, and maybe some problem solving skills and things like that. Okay, so now coming to the field, it's very important for especially science, engineering and technology area. But I believe that particularly when it comes to the critical thinking, that is very important for all the subjects. Okay, and that we have to devise how we provide the platform of critical thinking for each and every student on a topic which is say for example far away from science or engineering, but that can be done, I believe. Okay, so if we design our curriculum in a manner that we are offering them the holistic education, then we'll see that this particular holistic education emphasizes the critical thinking. Then we have this problem solving and creativity. Okay, so this you can see this creativity or the innovation, they are basically closely related to each other. Okay, so we'll see that sometimes suppose a student who is just completing second year, say fourth semester, and then they want to come to some IIT to do some kind of summer project. Okay, but as part of the curriculum, summer project is scheduled for the summer just after the sixth semester. It is because when you study from first semester to sixth semester, you get to study many core subjects of say about the particular branch, say mechanical engineering or chemical engineering, right? Then you are able to join some other lab or other industry where you see that those concepts are being actually implemented. Then you get a lot of fun out of it, and you contribute that, and you learn how a big machine is operating. But on the other hand, if some student wants to do it after the fourth semester, he may not have done all the core courses. So it might be due to his own curiosity, and he wants to do. Then that might be a little problematic for the teacher. But then he can downgrade the problem, like make it simple, a few bits and pieces, and encourage the student to get exposed to the overall engineering. Okay, then probably it will have a positive impact, is that that next year after sixth semester he can come back and do much better work and carry out in the in-depth study, develop his critical thinking and finding out solution. For example, if you just suppose that all of you know that gobar gas. Okay, so that is or we can say biogas. That is a very simple thing, that you mix cow dung with some kind of substrate, like some kind of vegetable peel or fruit peel and all these things, rice straw, wheat straw, etc. And you see that some gas is being formed, right? But this kind of basic understanding can be imparted to any student of say first year or second year. But when you also studying some reaction engineering subjects, or the heat transfer or fluid mechanics or some bacteria, then after the end of sixth semester, he can actually work and do some kind of pre-treatment, like some washing or some other pre-treatment kind of activity with those particular raw material, to see that whether that is helping him to get a better yield of the biogas production. Okay, so those are basically, you can say, the outcome of the critical thinking. So these this can be done from the very first year level. However, the students should understand that what he wants to do, and he should do some kind of homework, that okay, I should develop this problem solving skill by joining so and so professor and working in his lab, right? Then And once they start doing in this fashion and things that will help them improve their different skills, then naturally it will help them to improve their well-being, their emotional well-being, that they can handle. They can learn to work in a different lab, different place. For example, a student from North India can go to say IIT Madras or say some other place in Kerala. So there the food habit is different. People are talking in different language, but he will get to expose to those challenges, and he can learn how to work in a group, and if he has or shows some kind of resilience, then definitely he will be emotionally a better person and can do good work. Okay, and with the coupled with critical thinking, he can complete his project with much success. So by nurturing this emotional intelligence and the social skills, this holistic education promotes emotional well-being and resilience. Okay, so for example, the reverse thing also happens, like when I go to some say sugar mill in the eastern part of UP, once I saw that there was a HR manager who was basically from Kerala. So and he was talking in a very nice Hindi. So he was basically Keralite. So they see initially he faced that hurdle that okay, he is not able to talk in Hindi, but he appreciated the subject and then learned it, and now he's working, delivering his work in a much efficient manner. So we should show the resilience and help the students to understand that these activities are actually going to help them in developing their emotional well-being. So those things will equip them to with these tools to manage stress, then build healthy relationship, because once you do a summer training with a professor, then it is likely to happen that after your BTech is done, if you want to do say MTech thesis with that particular professor, he might readily accept you, because he knows you and you have done good work in his lab. So so then he will be able to navigate his challenges effectively. So this is having this advantage of the holistic education. Okay, now so similarly, when a student goes to abroad, okay, for higher studies, he sees that there are students from different countries, maybe from Africa, then Asia, or say some other part of the world. So he might be should be comfortable in general language, might be in English, and he is exposed to different cultures. So he will learn how to appreciate the culture of another person who is his classmate, but he's not from India. Okay, so so holistic education will prepare the student to take up those kind of challenges, and train him for the practical life skills. So the quality which will be the few qualities which will be developed in the student, or the cultivated into the student, like the adaptability, communication skills, then collaboration and leadership. Okay, because in many courses the teacher gives a little lengthy problem, and he expects that a group of 2 to 3 students will collaborate and work as a team. So if you want to work as a team and be successful, then there are some small tasks, and every task is interrelated. So suppose the particular task is given to you, and you have to, there is a timeline. So you have to complete it within time frame and pass on the particular output to the next team, which is waiting for you. Okay, so in this way, we should be able to complete the task on time and be ready to get good marks, right? So this collaborative approach that also gets improved into the mind of the student if he's taught in an environment of holistic education. Okay, so so the thing is that if we practice this in our institute, then the student will not feel sort of isolated. Okay, so he will develop a sense of purpose and meaning. The sense of purpose means, suppose he's coming from a very remote area, and in the class he sees that no one talks in his language, and no one wants to develop friendship with this guy. So so then it will be a very demotivating factor for the particular student. So so we should, as a teacher, we should understand that the classroom is for all the students. So if some student is feeling some kind of isolated or something other things, then we should help the student to solve his problem, right? So through reflection or self-discovery and exploration of values, holistic education helps the students develop a sense of purpose and a meaning in their lives. That okay, I have come from, say for example, remote area, say Assam or other part, and to say Gujarat or Bombay. So there he should be able to develop friendship, and the students, other students should be helpful to him, and the teacher should encourage that okay, you all are from different part of the country, but you all are my student. So you basically share what is your learning for today, what is your problems, then we will all try to discuss and resolve the issue. So it encourages them to contribute positively to society and pursue fulfilling path, because sometimes the students do some activity which is not restricted to only within the institute but also beyond. For example, if there is a say marathon of 5 kilometers, the student goes out of the campus, then they are also brand ambassadors for the particular university or the institute. So he feels a lot of happiness. It is a proud moment for him that he is representing that particular university, say BHU. Okay, so once he develops that sense of belonging, then definitely he can contribute very positively towards the successful completion of the degree and be a better citizen. So so all these things put together, we will see that it will help us to create the engaged and empathetic citizens. That means we are ready to help some other student who is having some kind of say some physical challenge or some other delay in understanding or comprehension, and many might be some other problems, a language problem, or the student is a little bit shy. So all these things can be properly tackled if the student particular is offered the holistic education. Okay, so this education instills a sense of social responsibility and empathy towards others and the environment. Okay, towards the environment, that is very, very important. Like that I will not cut any tree, because they provide a lot of oxygen through photosynthesis, and they are responsible for that arresting the soil erosion and many other things. So I will basically be a responsible citizen. Okay, I will help the institute in planting more trees and maintain the green cover, right? So besides it, this holistic education also promotes active citizenship and encourages students to be agents of positive change in their communities. Like once a student of say BHU or say for example any other IIT, they go to the society, then society develops some kind of appreciation for those students. Okay, these students are very good, they are very polite, and they are following all the traffic rules and things like. People will develop some kind of positive perception about the particular institute. Okay, so so this you see that this progressive education movement, like it is not only the rote learning but also this holistic education, which is very, very important. Those are promoted or this movement started long back in the late 19th and 20th century and early 20th century. Those famous educators like the John Dewey and Maria Montessori, that Montessori school. So those people were the pioneers. The progressive education movement emerged, and then basically the concept came that a student, when he is very, very young, then the teaching or the studies should be minimal, but he should be allowed to play and develop as a we can say just a flower. Okay, without putting much pressure on the particular student, we should allow them to grow in their normal environment. So progressive educators advocated for child-centered approaches that acknowledged the importance of experiential learning and individualized instruction. Okay, like in case of college students, it's basically that faculty centered approach. Like this is my style, I teach in this style. Okay, now student has to fit into my style. However, if we just shift the focus to the student centric approach, then there is one part is the delivering of the lectures, but the other important parts are engaging the tutors, taking the tutorial class, help the students to solve those problems of mathematics or other things, and explain them. And if they have more further doubt, they should be allowed to come to the teacher or the tutors, and then we can make the subject much more rewarding, much more fun for the particular student, right? So, so now coming to the benefits of holistic education. So the first thing is the academic success, because this holistic education fosters academic success by providing a well-rounded learning experience that integrates various subjects and perspectives. Okay, so it is not only the subject but also the perspective which is important. Why? Because suppose if I learn mathematics as a subject, but I don't know that it will be implemented while I'm going to purchase vegetables from a shop, then I basically don't find any kind of fun out of mathematics. But if I understand that that is very, very essential to to have some understanding about the addition, subtraction, and all these things, because I'll need them in my everyday life, then basically my perspective will change, and I will be more curious to learn different mathematical theorems and how they're implemented. And this this holistic education encourages critical thinking, because we have that group activity or project-based learning, and also sometimes we do not give a problem to the students, but we allow them to think. Just think about the city of Varanasi and bring some problem, and then we will try to solve. So that means they will have some enough time to think, and that will help improve their creativity. And then as a faculty, I will help them charting out the path to formulate the problem in a technically feasible manner, and then help them in every step. And then when they are able to solve the problem, it will help them in developing their problem solving skills, and those things are very, very essential for academic achievement, right? Now coming to the personal well-being, as they are going to be a responsible citizen, then they will be passionate about or empathetic towards their classmates, and they will readily help others who are facing some kind of difficulty. Suppose some students write very slowly, so others can help him to improve that skills and all these things, right? So holistic education prioritizes the holistic well-being of students, including their physical, emotional, and spiritual health, and it promotes healthy lifestyle habits. It's because they make a balance between the academic and then the sports and other extracurricular activities. And we can have some weekend stress management activities, like for some particular religion, we can have some kind of discourses, some discussion about some monk or some other god or something like that. Okay, so that varies from one particular religion to another particular religion, but we can have this kind of an arrangement. Okay, like students can come and they can ask the questions, and somebody say about yoga, the benefits of yoga, how it helps to improve the focus of a particular student. Those kind of discussion sessions can be arranged on every weekends by some faculty members and other persons. And also we can have the self-care practices to support overall well-being. Okay, so as I discussed about the social and emotional development, that we know that I have certain limitations, but if someone makes fun out of it, I don't like. So similarly, I should not also do the same thing, and I will develop some kind of respect for the particular person as he is, not based on his caste or his skin color or things like that. So so if I develop that habit, then I will also be respected and given value by the academic community. So besides, by nurturing the social and emotional skills, holistic education prepares the students to become compassionate, empathetic, and socially responsible citizens. Okay, now let us give some examples of how to practice the holistic education. So there is something called outdoor education programs. So we can go for a trip like that, engages students with nature. Okay, so we take the students to some kind of say river or some forest or some kind of zoo, so that they get an opportunity to connect with the nature, and it will help them promoting the environmental awareness and appreciation like in terms of a study tour, like, when you go into a natural environment, you will see that the student will understand the importance of, throwing the other things, bad things or other things, and only into the dustbin, the wrappers and plastic bottles, and not litter in the garden or other things. So that is very, very important. Theoretically, we all know that is a bad practice, because plastic and all these things are not biodegradable. But if I am not trained properly, then I make a mistake. I can make a mistake. Okay, so because you see that whenever you all have the experience of probably they have this experience that when you are traveling by a train and the train reaches the destination, say Delhi or some other station, then you'll see that there are some small boys. They enter with a big sack and they are trying to collect the empty water bottles. So that means that we are also not disposing properly, and there is a risk that they will refill with a normal tap water and try to sell it. So we should have this awareness that that if there is something in a wrapper or other things, we should put them only into the particular dustbin where it is for one is for biodegradable, another one is for that non-biodegradable, and so on and so forth. And then it also provides opportunities for hands-on learning, exploration, and physical activity. For example, if we give the opportunity and take them outside for a studies tour, probably I get to know that, okay, there is a student in my class who is a very good photographer. Okay, so those kind of things are, we don't have much scope to know about the human being, his other skills during a normal classroom of, say, core courses or study subjects, right? So when you go out and discuss and spend time with the students, we know much more about those things and help them to receive this holistic education. Okay, and this also helps them to become that mindfulness, and nowadays the government of India is giving a lot of emphasis on the meditation. This is truly helpful for maintaining a healthy body and a healthy mind. And at the same time, it helps us to improve our focus on a particular subject, because that is very, very important in these days, because all of you have seen, and including myself, I have seen in my small kids that their focus is very brittle, because they have access to, say, for example, some videos or say shorts or reels and all these things. They are highly engaging. They attract the attention of the small kids very fast. So they forget that, okay, they are taking food, or they have to be prepared within a short period of time for the school and things like that. So those things basically help them regulate their internal discipline. Okay, and we can also engage them in these learning projects in terms of as a part of the curriculum. We can also define some project-based learning. And those projects are basically help them to develop their interpersonal communication skills, teamwork, and helping others to be able to solve their task on a particular time frame and be a better managers, right? And improves their punctuality and all other qualities. So overall, it encourages civic engagement, empathy, and social responsibility. So the aspects of holistic education, it makes the student active learner. Okay, because he's also taking care of his body and mind, so he becomes an active learner, having more focus. The learners actively construct their own knowledge by connecting new ideas, to existing ideas. And child-centered pedagogy by giving priority to their experiences, their voices, and their active participation. So now, if we just have to summarize the about holistic education, we can see those important bullet points here. That mindfulness and meditation practices are very, very important. They should be part of the curriculum so that we can afford holistic education. Then we should be able to integrate arts across the curriculum. Then the project-based learning, hands-on, and addresses real-world issues. Some part of the curriculum at some particular semester we can start that community service projects. Okay, so for example, some festival organized by the students, and they are serving the society, poor people, or things like that. then it gives the opportunity to the student for self-reflection and journaling. Okay, and as I talked about the project-based learning, so it helps them to be a collaborative learner, right? Collaborative learning activities will be there, so they will improve their skills. And teacher-student relationships that are based on respect and trust, because I am spending more time with the student understands that this professor is there to help me, so the trust is ensured, right? The learners actively construct their own knowledge by connecting new ideas to existing knowledge, right? So that helps in overall development of the student as a human being, as a responsible citizen of the country. So by embracing these principles, holistic education aims to empower students to become not only knowledgeable but also compassionate, creative, and responsible individuals who are prepared to thrive in a complex and ever-changing world. Okay, so probably we are at the end of this holistic education, and after the break we will start this multidisciplinary education or a multidisciplinary approach to education. So we will just minimize it here, and coming to this. I have stopped the sharing of this particular PPT, and now I'll be happy to take up any queries or questions, or if someone wants to add anything onto my this discussion, and then we will take some break.
Thank you, sir, for that insightful discussion. And I have tried to follow as you have cruised through different aspects of NEP. Now, my only concern here is, at times I become skeptical about NEP because of its theoretical, to some of the theoretical framework. The reason being, in our day-to-day life in the universities or the colleges where we teach, the number of students, sometimes they are overwhelming, and then it becomes a problem and we tend to introspect that how can we integrate these practices among so many students. So if you can shed a bit of light, because this is a problem I think you are also facing in your own institute, and we all are facing. For example, in some of our institutes, the student to teacher ratio is abysmal. We have around one teacher to around 300 students or 350 students or more than that. So that is from my side. If you can add to that, how we can deal with it.
Yeah. Thank you. And that it is a very, very fundamental issue, and not only you, but also we are suffering. It is because that once government decides to increase the strength in IITs or some other universities or academic institutions, then we have to follow. So now in particularly if you just ask about our department, chemical engineering, we have about 150 students. So to solve the problem, we just make it into two sections, section A, section B, and we also have there is something called a branch change. So from this July we are going to stop that practice, but however we have been practicing that. So after the end of the first semester and also the second semester, if someone has a very high CGPA, then he can switch the branch if there is some kind of vacancy, like 10% of the class. So we saw that the total strength goes around about 170 or a little bit more than that. So even if you have two sections, then your class strength is close to 90, 80 plus then 90. So if you have a class of 50, then there is one scenario. If it is more than 50 means close to 100, then and we don't have a mechanized system for their attendance. Okay, so we have to take the physical attendance because there is an attendance criteria that student has to attend 75% of the classes. So then that takes a lot of time, and since the classroom is large, and we are having a pressure of completing the syllabus, then we don't get much time to pause and allow the students to ask questions and the silent mode. And if somebody's phone rings, then it disturbs the entire class. So so a big classroom is always a problem. And in IIT system, since we are autonomous, we can think of a little bit increasing the faculty strength. Like for our department, the sanction strength is about 60. Now we are about 27 faculty members. So we're planning to increase it to at least 30-35 very soon. But for your case, when there is about 300 or more than 300 students for a particular faculty, then it's basically very difficult to implement. And then also, if you have some PG students or PhD students who can act as a TA, then you can take some help that, okay, this is the basic theory I'm teaching in the class. After that, if you have any doubt, you make 2 or 3 groups and you approach this particular TA, this is his email ID, and discuss with him. And if after that also doubts are not clear, then you come to me. But still, in India, we see that after a few years of academic teaching, the faculty members, basically, they are involved in a lot of administrative activity. So then you don't get much time to frame the question paper and correcting all the copies, because you are chairman and member of many committees. So the respective state governments, they take basically much more time in recruiting faculty members. That is a serious issue, maybe applicable for all the states. So that only we can sensitize our principal or college, the directors or whatever who are senior to us, that to have and many institutes, what they do, that suppose it's taking more time to recruit permanent faculty, then they can hire the services of the retired professors. Okay, at least with that we can temporarily address the particular issue of that shortage. And because of the permanent faculty, they have to take the class, lab, then a lot of meetings. They are what in the hostels. Like I am the BTech program chairman, so I have a lot of issues with the BTech students, what they are facing, and also a faculty. I'm guiding MTech PhD students, then teaching courses, and all other activities. And we have to publish. Then we have to bring a project, a sponsored project, and once the project is there, we have to run it smoothly. We have to check whether the student or JRF, they are working in the project, because we have to send the progress report, and so much challenges are already there. So the recruiting faculty members without any delay is a very crucial point. And you are right in pointing out that if that ratio is not healthy, you won't be able to implement, because that now we are implementing the 6th semester internship, but suppose the student gets this internship in a particular industry, but whether it is suitable for, say, chemical or civil or mechanical engineering, that has to be decided by the DUGC convener, okay, the BTech program chairman. So now for if the students are 150, then I have to spend a lot of time, because I may not know the working style of many companies. What are they doing, what is their product, what is the technology. So then it will probably, when these students will join 2025 July, when they will go to the 6th semester, then probably life will be very difficult for me. Okay, so I think we should be hopeful, and we should request our seniors to look into this matter, that we should appoint faculty members as soon as possible to address this issue. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, so it's about 2:30. So if there are no further questions, we can just take about 10 minutes break, and again we will start around around maybe 2:45. Okay, then we will come back. So, good afternoon to all of you. I think we can come back and let's have some further discussion on the second topic, that is the multidisciplinary education. Okay, so let me share the screen. So is the screen visible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So you see that first of all, let us understand what is the meaning of multidisciplinary education. Okay, so then we will be able to understand what is the multidisciplinary approach towards education. So so suppose we have different disciplines like computer science, then electrical engineering, electronics, civil, mechanical, chemical, etc. So there is nothing new in it. Okay, but that doesn't make an institute offering multidisciplinary education. Why? It's because then you for a student basically grows only with a single vertical. So for example, he joins the computer science program and he takes the relevant courses and does the lab work, does the project work and internship, and gets a job in say for example a company who is involved in the computer science and engineering and all the relevant aspects. So that doesn't help the student to have some basic understanding about other subjects. Okay, so that nowadays we understand, we appreciate that those skills are also very, very important. That though I am say for example civil engineer, I should have some basic understanding about what are the latest technologies which are there in computer science, which are also used maybe in different areas of civil engineering. Okay, so so when we incorporate those new things, those technologies which are very, very advanced and can be deployed in other engineering as well, then we sort of can say that our curriculum incorporates multidisciplinary approach. Okay, so so a multidisciplinary approach to education involves integrating multiple disciplines or subject areas into the curriculum, allowing students to explore connections between different fields of study. Okay, so for example, a few years back, I started a very nice experiment. That is, the students will be exposed to with a few options. Like since we are little lucky that we are within the BHU campus, and BHU has a very versatile department of that creative practice, then performing arts and all those things. So we invited the research scholars from BHU to teach our first year students. There are a few options. The student has to choose one particular option, say music, or might be that sculpture or painting. Okay, all things like that, and that basically help the students significantly, because they everybody learns something at when they are child, but they don't expect that to develop those skills or spending some time and do some kind of a hands-on approach when they join an engineering college, because they think that okay, since I joined electronics, I will study only that circuit board and all these things, and I'll get a job and then leave the institute. So when we started this topic, then we saw that students are taking a lot of interest, they are painting something, say just a flower, but that flower is basically there is a lot of pride into that painting, that is their own product, and they are so much passionate about the particular paintings that they are putting it inside their room in the hostel. Another example I can give you, that there was a girl who used to like sculpture. So we had those arrangements, and she used that soil and made it mud. With that mud, she prepared a bust of Gautam Buddha, Lord Buddha. And I asked that what you were going to do with this bust. And she told that I'm going to keep it in my room. That will motivate me, because this, I myself have done that. So that might not be perfect, but that is helping the students to learn something new and doing by hand. So that is a part of multidisciplinary approach in engineering, which we have studied in IIT BHU long back. So it encourages collaboration. Then the critical thinking, the student has to think that okay, there is something called advertising. So they will make some product and they will try to sell. So they have to critically think that what will be the basic design and what they are going to make finally and what they're going to sell and those things. And the problem solving skills. So all this put together, they will help them to address the complex issues, from various perspectives. So when we talk about the core principles of multidisciplinary education, so we have to understand that if the student is given training on a particular course and the relevant subjects, it might be purely rote learning, and the student may not, get an overall view or it was overview of the particular domain where he is going to work. For example, if I learn some engineering and get a degree, then after getting a job, I'm basically handling different human beings. They are coming from different places. So I should have the skills to interact and jointly work with as a team member with those people. Okay, then the most important part is my, the other skills like the communication skills, the honesty, my commitment, professionalism, punctuality, and many other qualities. So those will be sharpened if we integrate some other soft skills, other learnings also as part of their main, curriculum. Okay, so integration of disciplines, that is very, very important. That this multidisciplinary education, brings together knowledge and methods from various disciplines to examine a common theme, problem, or question. Okay, so for example, we as part of the chemical engineering curriculum, if we have some lab where we have this the students will be exposed with wastewater, and how we can purify that wastewater and get a clear water using some kind of say membrane or some kind of filtration medium, then that might be a typical lab activity. But through this process, the teacher will sensitize them about the real world. What is the real world? Real world, you will see that there are many textile mills which are very much famous in India, also in Bangladesh, and some are in Pakistan also. So in textile mills, whenever you do some kind of coloring and washing and all these things, it generates a lot of wastewater. Some of them have some kind of dye. These dyes are chemical compounds which are bad for health, okay, and also bad for the vegetation. So now those especially the small industries which don't have any processing plant, because that is costly, they just maybe throw out the wastewater to the nearby small drains. The small drain goes to the bigger drains, and those bigger drains then ultimately goes to some small rivers, and that the small river ultimately disposes those contaminants into the river Ganges. Okay, so ultimately we are suffering from different diseases, might be due to this contamination of that wastewater, all those chemicals into the vegetation, because the soil, earth is porous. So once that contaminated water is flowing through some kind of small river, might be it is absorbed by the soil, and then slowly it percolates to the paddy field, the wheat the field, or maybe in normal, the vegetation like, potato, then the cauliflower and brinjal and so on and so forth. So the student is basically developing awareness about the place which is basically the source of this contaminant, okay, like wastewater. Then how the industry should, dispose it, process something within its periphery, and then it can dispose of to the particular, central processing unit, and the central processing unit should run all the steps like filtration, then some kind of digestion process and other things, and some, activated carbon chamber and sand filter and all these things, and finally that purified water that is disposed to, say, river, or that is recycled and used into the particular plant for gardening, for floor washing, and maybe for some other activities except drinking water. Okay, so you see that in this particular figure we are having some overlapping of, say, mechanical engineering, then biomechanics. In biomechanics you need the knowledge of biology also, okay, and there is something called artificial intelligence, and I think all of you are aware of the artificial intelligence and the chat GPT and all these things. In chat GPT, you also know that there is something called the DeepSeek, which is another chatbot which is developed by some Chinese engineers. So there you ask for some question and you immediately get an answer. Okay, so so that basically helps you to generate some solution to a problem, and as a tutor that those things are very, very good. And we can also encourage our students to learn all those things out of those things. So this you see this, if I think that this artificial intelligence is a part of computer science only, there is no need for a civil engineering student to learn what is artificial intelligence. So then what is the outcome? The outcome is that the student is particularly not going to learn about that artificial intelligence if we don't incorporate some small lectures on artificial intelligence into our curriculum, and student doesn't know the impact of AI into his own outcome. So maybe he can't answer the questions in a job interview properly, and he may not get the job. And on the other hand, if we incorporate some lectures on, say, the data science, artificial intelligence, and machine learning and all these things for the engineering students who are not pursuing computer science engineering, then it will help them broaden their knowledge base. Okay, and in the interview they can represent this question in a different fashion, that okay, I know that AI is a very, very powerful tool, and as a civil engineer, when I'll be posted to do some kind of civil structural design or some kind of civil construction work, or say construction of highway or expressways, I know that I can get much more information, just by taking the help of the AI. Okay, so this will help me to become a better engineer, because I cannot carry all those heavy books with me everywhere, but I can carry my smartphone with the help of Wi-Fi and all these things. I can clear my doubts by asking the question to AI or those chatbots. So similar thing is applicable for your electronics and other branches of engineering also. Okay, so that there are many places where we have this biomedical engineering, where people are working on the artificial limb, artificial that kidney and all those developments. So everywhere you see that it is not only the science but also some engineering, and then how the forces are being balanced, then how the fluid is flowing. So this all is basically amalgamation of different engineering branches, and making it a multidisciplinary approach will be very, very beneficial for the student to develop a broader perspective after his normal undergraduate studies, and he can pursue a better career for himself. As I was just telling about the perspective, you see that this multidisciplinary education, that basically helps us to broaden our perspective. It is not only for the students but also for the for the staff of an institution, and also for the faculty members at large, because the faculty members have to keep themselves updated as quickly as possible, because then only they can learn and appreciate the new technology and transfer the knowledge to the students. Okay, so for example, that the HR system, human resource HR manager and all these things, and also academic institutions, we have this HR department. Particularly under the office of the registrar, there are some staff, suppose, who takes care of the leave system, leave of faculty and staff. Now, earlier we have this hard copy, and you have to maintain file, and all these are very, very cumbersome process. Now there is a portal by Government of India that is called a Samarth portal, where I just log in and apply for leave. Okay, so I spend some time definitely, but however, I don't have to take a printout, because when I apply for that leave, then it automatically goes to some particular faculty where I have given the charge. Okay, during my absence from this Monday to Friday, Dr. XYZ will be taking care of my students and all these things, all my administrative tasks, and he will receive an email and he has to just approve that. Then it will go to the head of the department. He will then forward to some staff in the office of the registrar, and he will basically approve it if everything is fine. So then after that, you can also take a printout or just save the file in another repository. Okay, so then the most important part is that when this software, this package is installed in the institute, then you should give dedicated training to the particular staff who is going to handle this Samarth portal, right? Otherwise, if I have any doubt as a faculty and I'm not able to apply for the leave, then whom should I contact? I should contact that particular staff, and he should be able to clear my doubt. So you see, this, it will also broaden the perspective of the staff also, that okay, that apart from this hard copy things, he's exposed to this training, and he now feels good that okay, I can handle the summer portal and help other staff members and faculty members to properly apply for leave and getting it approved by the higher authority. So similarly, you see, this picture shows that there is intense link between subjects like philosophy, then sociology, that then psychology, and then management, then economics, right? So now you can ask that why management is important. Management is important because we can have some particular task at hand, and I know that okay, this task is it's a project work I have given to some particular students, and this is they have 1 week time, and they have a group of say 3 to 4 students. But if someone of them doesn't manage the time properly, they may forget. Okay, that means by the next Monday when they have to submit the assignment, maybe 1 or 2 parts of the task is complete and remaining parts are not finished. So keeping track of the time is very, very important. So this all and also the task. So all these things come under the purview of the management. That is also important for engineering, for science. It is not only for those particularly management departments. So that's why you see that nowadays there is a not only MBA but also the BBA program, because those programs are are training the students to be able to better managers later on, right? So this after discussing these examples, we see that when we are able to incorporate diverse viewpoints into our activities, it helps learners gain a more comprehensive and nuanced understanding of the complex issues. Okay, so for example, if I am good at doing something, but I am I usually reach very late for the particular meeting, then also it disturbs the normal activity of the team members and of the whole work. Okay, so I have to understand that that I should develop that particular perspective, that it is not only the job, but also that other things like punctuality, commitment and professionalism, those are very, very important. And this I will learn through multidisciplinary education. Okay. Now coming to the critical thinking, which you have also discussed, Critical thinking is, you can say that, suppose I make some product in my lab. Okay, now I am trying to commercialize it, and while commercializing it, suppose I think that okay, my the cost of manufacturing or cost of production was 60 rupees, so I'll make the selling prices at, say, for example, 100 rupees. Okay, but I don't think about the market. So then it might so happen that when the product is introduced into the market, nobody wants to buy, because there is a similar product already available in the market at 90 rupees per, say, kilograms or something like that. So that means in critical thinking, I have to ask all the questions and look at the problem from different angles. Okay, so that should involve the research skills of the lab members. Okay, then to come into a right conclusion, we should have this problem solving skills should be trained. This ability should be developed within the members. Okay, and also we should encourage them to develop the creativity. Okay, for example, suppose I am trying to sell the product only in the urban area. Okay, now some student comes up with an idea that why can't we try this product in a rural area? There might be more customers, or people might be needing this particular product. So that is basically he is bringing some creativity to the table, and again it might be successful that this product has more demand in the rural area as compared to the urban area. Okay, so this critical thinking is very, very important, that we ask a lot of questions like what, when, which, and we get all the answers without any bias and try to analyze them, and then we also apply our perspectives. So everybody puts in his own perspectives, and then we try to come to a common solution, common goal to develop a particular product. Okay, and we also compare different approaches, evaluate them, and finally come to a conclusion. So it basically this when we have a problem and try to sort of get a solution, then that problem solving skill basically is facilitated if we incorporate those critical thinking, and that is basically facilitated not only with a particular core course but also in the project-based learning. Okay, because in project-based learning, suppose there is a product, there is a raw material for the final product. There is raw material. So suppose if you approach some person and he says that okay, that for that he has to go to the market, and then market will be closed, and then he will bring it some other day. So there is some delay. So now suppose some student brings some idea that okay, why don't you order this same raw material from Amazon or Flipkart? So that can be a very nice idea. Okay, so we have to jot down all the ideas coming from all the team members, so that we can develop the particular product in the minimum time possible, and with a minimal amount of resources, right? So this problem solving is very, very important, because it equips learners with a wider range of tools and strategies to tackle problems that may not be easily solved within a single disciplinary framework. Okay, so for example, as I told you about this wastewater purification problem, there suppose the students of chemical engineering may not have proper idea about the functioning of of a bacteria. Okay, that might be helping to purify the water, and for that maybe their team, they should involve some students from that biotechnology, or maybe that botany, or particularly biochemical engineering, where they study a few more courses about the bacteria and its activity. Okay, so similarly, when a team basically works on some important thing, and then they have found some solution, so then we should need a member or one or two members who are very good at writing the draft, drawing the pictures, then making the figures and analyzing the data. Okay, that is very, very important, because when we have something new, we can apply for a patent. And then patent also, there are many other aspects which I cannot discuss today, but later on I can discuss. So the thing is that for that you have to have some very good quality draft you have to prepare, because that's some company who will be basically applying for the patent on behalf of you, and your document should be legally correct also. It's not only the English, not only the technical accuracy, but also it should be legally correct. So those things, for that we need some person who is very good at drafting those reports. Okay, and there might be somebody who is very good at mathematics, and so he's able to solve those mathematical equations, and he can interpret the results very easily. Okay, so those two things are very, very useful for a particular team. So you see that whenever we have a problem that is brought into the table and we want to solve it, so we should have some kind of multidisciplinary approach. Like we have to ask different questions, like where should I get the raw material, where should I sell the product, okay, why should we take up this project, okay, then who means who will be my team members, and who will be my customers. So this kind of, if you ask this basic question, you will get a lot of answers. Then you have to sort of find out which answer is appropriate for you, and then you sort of connect the dots, and finally you build your product. Okay, and then you take care of the time frame, then you have this this quality parameters, and then quality testing, quality check, and cost, all those things, and profitability, then the obligations that you have to pay, the tax to the government, and many other issues you have to take care, and then only you can bring some product into the market, right? So now you see that when we have a particular problem for any subject, we have you can define a particular theoretical problem or a practical problem, and we see that we are asking a lot of questions into the table, and we're trying to find out as much as possible solutions to the particular question, and we are interconnecting. Then basically it makes it becomes easy for us to find a final conclusion which is acceptable by all the team members. So this interconnectedness is very, very important. What is this? This basically highlights the interconnections of the knowledge and the skill set of different members, and basically encourages the learners to see the relationships between different fields of study. So you see that suppose the student from biochemical engineering, he has some good knowledge about the functioning of bacteria, but he then is able to see that how a chemical student is able to write the rate expression at which the bacteria is consuming the food or the substrate, okay, and giving away some product. So that theoretical concept, how a chemical engineer is trained to write that in terms of a mathematical equation and solving it with some kind of boundary conditions, that is very, very important. Okay, so it is basically a learning environment for everybody. So for example, the engineering student sees that, okay, some guy from management, or say for example commerce, is able to find out through some calculations that what will be the cost of the particular product when it enters the market. Okay, so because that is very, very important. Suppose if it is different, it is very high, then people will not purchase, okay, buy your product. It's very low, then you will have a lot of losses. So there has to be some kind of market entry price of the particular product. So this interconnectedness among different team members, their knowledge, skill sets is very, very important to achieve success for the particular the project. Okay, so more we discuss, more we pose the questions of every aspect sequentially, and also in other way around, the more we develop understanding. So that developing the communication skill and being able to put forth your idea in a much better manner, in a clearer way, is very, very important. So while discussing something, if some important issue comes in your mind, you should be able to put forth for deliberation. So what is the advantage at the end of the day is that everybody will have more clarity. Okay, so the learners develop a deeper and more comprehensive understanding of complex topics by exploring them from multiple angles. Okay, so for example, if we ask somebody how to prepare a cup of tea, then initially it might be difficult for him to understand that, okay, I don't know when I have to add the sugar, add the tea leaf, etc. But once he develops the basic confidence that, okay, I can do this, and with the basic information that, okay, I need that milk, some water, some sugar and tea leaves, etc. Then sequentially he goes on doing these, and maybe after one or two trials he is able to add the right quantity of sugar, tea leaves and milk, and get a better quality of 1 cup of tea. Okay, that means this figure shows that if we have more and more discussions within our team, within our group, we'll have better clarity. Okay, so we have to ask questions about the problem from different angles, and then only will be having enhanced understanding on the particular problem. Now, improved critical thinking. Okay, improved critical thinking is basically at the beginning of the study. When we have this problem, then we carry out this critical thinking activities, so that whatever comes in our mind about the problem, about the input parameters, about how to solve it, what will be the final product or process or whatever, then we get a lot of questions, okay, and then solutions also. So once we do it, we'll go to the second iteration after the first iteration is over. Then you see that we have an improved critical thinking, because we have assumed something at the beginning based on our critical thinking, and that basically didn't work. So second time, when I'm doing the same thing for the same process, maybe I have the improved critical thinking, so I will not make this mistake again. Okay, so the students with this who are undergoing this process of the project work, they become better at analyzing information and evaluating the arguments among different team members, and also they're able to form their own informed opinions. Okay, so see that increased creativity, and also you see that when you design a product and then somebody comes up with a suggestion that, okay, similar product is already available in the market, so then I have to think that, okay, I have to change the design so that it looks a new product in the market. So that helps me in increasing my creative skills, like the design, the color, the dimensions, the strength of the particular material, and what is the proportion of raw materials which I will use to get to this final product. All these parameters are improved because I have this improved the creativity skills. Okay, so this exposure to diverse perspectives can spark creativity and lead to innovative solutions. Okay, and so this sequentially what we're discussing right now is that it helps me to develop the stronger problem solving skills. So for example, if I am able to successfully complete a project, then it gives me the confidence that in the next project I'll be able to do it in a much better manner, because I have strong problem solving skills. Okay, then these learners gain a wide range of tools and approaches to solve problems that span multiple disciplines. Okay, so for example, if a mechanical engineering student is working on some engine and he doesn't have much idea about the quality or the characteristics of the particular fuel which is going to be used in the engine, so then an input from the chemical engineering student who has some idea about petrol, diesel or biodiesel or things like that, so it will be very, very useful for finding out what is the this smoke or coke deposition or all other impurities, or in terms of pollutants like SOx and NOx pollution, or the particulate matter, okay, which are harmful for the environment. So if they work in a group, then both of them have stronger problem solving skills. So that spans basically across multiple disciplines. Okay, then Now coming to the adaptability. Adaptability is basically a very, very important aspect, which is basically related to the flexibility. Okay, that if I am adaptable, that means suppose I don't feel comfortable with a person who is not able to talk in Hindi. Then might be English is a common language, so I improve my English communication skills so that I am more adaptable to the particular team, that I am able to talk in English with a particular fellow and able to learn quickly what he's doing, what he's good at. Okay, maybe some is good at solving some mathematical equation, or preparing a plot or a figure into the report, right? So that helps me to become more adaptable to the new scenario, and better prepared to face challenges in a rapidly changing world. Now, it is very, very important for us to discuss, a few examples of multidisciplinary education. So we have this, environmental studies. That is a classic example of amalgamation of different, engineering branches. Okay, for example, chemical engineering students, they know chemistry, but if they collaborate with the chemistry people, their understanding also enhances. It's because the chemistry people will bring into the table the knowledge of a particular reaction, whether it will occur or not, and then if the reaction is feasible, then chemical engineer is the right person to think about the scaling up. Scaling up means, now I have done the experiment in some milligrams, or 1 gram, 10 gram, 50 gram, etc. But now I want to go for a larger production, say 10 kilograms. So this is called scale up issues, and it will involve a lot of problems, like how the liquid will flow, how I will provide heat to a very big vessel, and how I will measure the concentration, and many other things. There will be pressure issues. So similarly, one classic example is the environmental studies, where you will see that there are students from different branches of science and engineering who are working together to solve a bigger problem, right? So like this field integrates knowledge from biology, that after the 10+2 students are joining that BSc in botany. Okay, so and also now there are bioengineering, and all these things are coming for different universities in India and abroad. So see, this field integrates knowledge from biology, then chemistry, geology, economics, and political science to understand and address environmental issues. For example, I can just give you one example of that it's called a phytoremediation. Okay, so people who are working in chemistry and environmental science or studies, they will understand this topic. It is basically, suppose I talked about that wastewater. Okay, it is having some kind of textile effluent which are bad for the environment. So suppose that is just discarded in a particular land, and I have the knowledge of a particular plant or tree, which I put the seeds and all, and they grow to bigger trees, and the roots of the particular tree is absorbing those particular metals, which are basically responsible for the contamination into the wastewater, right? So those metals are absorbed by the root. Then you will see that just by plantation we are able to largely absorb the contaminants from the wastewater. So suppose if the wastewater is flowing from left to right, and in between there is a region where I have planted many trees which are absorbing those contaminants, those molecules, those metals, those ions, using their roots. So what is the advantage? Advantage is that after that, when the wastewater is flowing out of that particular region, you will see that much less concentration of the contaminants, and that might be very, very beneficial for the environment. Okay, so this phytoremediation, if you want to work on that, you have to have knowledge of those chemistry and engineering, obviously, because that plantation and all these things are important. Water flow, you have to study through porous media, and not only, but also you have to have the knowledge of the agriculture, that soil, which plant is good for this particular soil, who can survive on limited water and absorb the those metals comfortably in large quantities through their roots. So this is, you can say, a classic example of holistic as well as multidisciplinary education, where we are solving a bigger problem, and that has a positive impact on the adjoining locality, right? And also you see that the knowledge of chemistry is also very, very indispensable for solving this bigger problem. Okay, so similarly we have this cognitive science, where you see that this interdisciplinary field combines insights from psychology, neuroscience, linguistics, and computer science to study the mind and intelligence. Because in computer science we have the code. Code is written by some engineer, or nowadays that artificial intelligence, AI, is also writing different codes. So this code is basically will calculate something and give us as a final result based on some input parameters. But when you are doing the same thing for a particular product which is there in the market, then how the customers will react to this product, whether they will buy or not, whether they will buy in larger quantities. So what is the perception or psychology of the particular customer? That is very, very important. Okay, and the design of the product and the appeal and many other things, right? So that this activity we will involve the visual perception, then the memory, then thinking skills of the students, and also the analyzing and that reasoning part, and also to be able to express those thoughts in mathematical equations, like we should be able to convert them to meaningful sentences, or the equations, or the programming language. Okay, then there is a social cognition, that applicability and acceptance of the particular product for those things which are developed by the engineers, and finally the decision, right? So you see that when we take everything into account, then we can probably develop a better code which is taking care of the perception of the customer, their psychological development, and how they will interact, whether they are going to accept this product. So now one example I can give you, that you all know that if you want to order food, the best platforms could be Swiggy, Zomato, etc. But they are also hiring the BTECs of different branches from IITs and NITs, etc., and giving a very high salary. Why? It is because they inside those companies, these people will have to do basically a bigger task. Okay, they will be working as part of a bigger team. So there, it is not only the BTECs who are in computer science that they will be writing the codes, but they also will have to incorporate many other things which are that those feedbacks are coming from the customers, like 10-minute delivery. Okay, some kind of attractive piece of language, right? So how do you position your company, your apps, your website, how the customer is reacting to that? This is also very, very important. And that has a direct connection with the psychological impact on the particular customer. Okay, so similarly, another field where this multidisciplinary education is very, very important these days is the bioengineering. You see that it is not only means if you just straight away study separately, say botany, then zoology, then chemical engineering, then chemistry, then you will not be able to solve bigger problem of, say, bioengineering. Okay, now we know that people who are working in chemistry, they also are needed to develop some kind of vaccine or other medicines. Okay, so this for example, we nowadays many countries, they are doing extensive research on developing, say, liquid fuel, because the crude petroleum is short in supply, and it's costly, and there is some supply disruptions. So they are trying to develop the biofuel, like biodiesel, then enhanced bio oil, or maybe you can say that esters, and or the aviation fuel. So there your raw material is basically some biomass. So if that characteristics of biomass is not taught as part of chemical engineering curriculum, then you have to basically include one member from that botany or some other department. Okay, so and then after that you see that those raw materials are having a number of molecules. Okay, so to understand their characteristics, you should have some knowledge of chemistry and how they are interacting. For that, you should have some knowledge about the characterization techniques, like what is the ash content, because ash is not of any value, but some biomass has very high ash content, like the rice husk, rice straw. So once you have those characterization facility characteristics, and you know that okay, this molecule has this particular feed material has 10 molecules. So we have to understand those 10 molecules are participating in 100 different reactions. So every reaction has some kind of activation energy and all these things. So for that you need to have the knowledge of mathematics, right? So this is the field of bioengineering, that how we have to take help from mechanical engineers, chemical engineers, biology, chemistry, and finally when you develop the particular product, you have to go for the large scale production. Then you have to have the knowledge of the management people, and also people who are having knowledge of the commerce. Okay, so that what will be the cost, how we can make a profit, and how we can safeguard our technology by means of patenting, so that the other person cannot steal my process, my technology. So those things are very, very important, right? Now a similar example, a different but a little bit different example of multidisciplinary education is the urban planning. You see that the left side is a hypothetical figure of a particular city, where you see that a lot of greenery is there. There are grounds, there are houses, there is some very good spacing between buildings and all these things. So you see on the right hand side, it is some rough diagram of the city Chandigarh. That is the first city in India which was developed based on some planning. It was planned and then it was constructed. So you see that it's very, very, very easy for any person to commute between house to school, then to hospital, or then market. So if these are planned, then basically we can minimize, or we can avoid the traffic jam. And then we can, if the traffic jam is avoided, we can save on the fuel cost, because if you have to turn on your engine and wait for a couple of minutes in a traffic crossing, then the pollutants are also more, and that is basically becoming unfriendly and unhealthy for the particular people of the society, and also for the atmosphere, and it's causing a lot of things like global warming and many other things. So the urban planning, it is not only the knowledge of architects, but also the knowledge of civil engineering, and some some other activity, other professionals are also very, very important to be able to successfully make a plan that okay, this is the location where I want to construct one stadium, okay, or say for example a shopping complex or a high-rise building and things like that. Okay, so this discipline, this urban planning, this discipline draws on knowledge from architecture, sociology, economics, and environmental science to design and develop sustainable cities. So now this is a very, very hot topic, sustainable cities. It is because the city which we are constructing, they may not be sustainable in long future, in future, because due to the global warming, you see that the glaciers melting. Okay, there is volcano, there are many other things happening. So low-lying places like say some part of Bangladesh or maybe India, people say that they will be under the sea after 50 years, something like that, the water level will rise. So those things, the natural hazards, we cannot avoid them completely, but if we can make proper planning, then we can avoid them significantly. For example, in Varanasi, you see that there's the river Ganges, and there are a lot of sand and silt. Okay, so in the time of say for example this February, March, when the water level is at the minimal.
Sir, your mic is mute.
just 1 second. I have just 1 second. 1 second. I haven't done anything, but I have to go to the screen. Is it okay now?
Yes, it is perfectly okay.
Okay, fine. Thank you. So let us go back to the presentation. So you see that for the urban planning also, we need the services of engineers who are aware of the natural calamities and global warming, and how we can we can carry out the sustainable activities, so that we can delay the average rise in temperature of the globe, or other untoward, unpleasant activities. Okay, so it is basically not a single man's job, but the work of a team. So now, if a student is trained in a particular domain and he studies for 4 years, a couple of coursework and all those labs and all, then after that, if he gets a job in this in a company where he has to talk with or work with a very large team, then it will be very, very difficult for him. So keeping that in mind, we are working for this multidisciplinary education, so that he has a broader perspective, and he gets some basic understanding about many other things, like I teach in chemical engineering. The students, I tell that the majority of institutes in India, they don't teach safety, but it's very, very important. And once you enter an industry, you should wear the helmet. You should keep your phones and all these things in a separate place, because there might be some kind of very volatile hydrocarbon vapors. They might catch fire. So all those precautions he should take. So once a student visits an industry for one day, he learns many things which may not be easily which he may not learn easily by studying a coursework. Because when you study a course, our objective is to be able to give answer to certain questions, and be able to write also in the exam and get good marks or grades. But when you enter the industry, then it's basically your physical being, that that, okay, if I don't wear the helmet, something might fall on my head and I might get injured. So I am much more concerned about my body, and I have to follow their instructions as well. So that makes myself very much aware that in this kind of environment, I have to follow this kind of instructions. Okay, for example, during the COVID period, if you visit some industry, first of all, they will measure your body temperature. Okay, so these precautions they have to take into consideration, because to safeguard their existing employees, right? So these are the best practices they have done, and urban planning is one such example where the multidisciplinary education is very, very important. Okay, so this interdisciplinary courses. So this, as I told you that I think in your institute also you might be having some kind of open electives. Okay, so open electives are courses where that is to some extent similar to your branch of engineering, but not directly taught to you. So if you attend that particular open elective course, you will develop a better understanding. Like, for example, suppose if I teach petroleum refinery engineering, and that is offered as an open elective course to the students of mechanical engineering, who should have some knowledge on the fuel. So he will develop a broader perspective that what is the situation of India in terms of coal reserve, in terms of crude petroleum, natural gas, and why we are importing. What is those of billions of dollars we are spending to import crude oil, and if all of a sudden the price rises in Gulf countries like Saudi Arabia and Iraq, Iran, Kuwait, then our economy is impacted. So he develops a better perspective to handle those situations. Okay. Now, project-based learning, that we have discussed earlier also, that to complete a project successfully, we need to take help from people from mathematics, people from engineering, then science and management, and management is also very, very important, because each and every task is related to some other task, and time is also important. And if some particular person is not able to deliver his particular task, then everybody will suffer. So in that context, you can think that management is also very, very important. Okay. Now, in similar line, we should also discuss about this collaborative approach, because if we collaborate with somebody else, then if I am I have some shortcoming in a particular topic or subject, I can take help from some other fellow members and improve my skills. That will help me improve my critical thinking, then sharing my knowledge, sharing what is the question coming up in my mind, and I can also learn how to do self-reflection and putting forth your ideas, and the proper communication skills to be developed, and all these things will improve, and we should be able to learn and work in a collaborative manner. Okay, and if we learn this into our particular UG curriculum, then it helps us to to give a broader perspective to apply for research opportunities. Suppose if I want to say, for example, do MS or PhD in some topic like the bioengineering, then it will help me to get the admission if I have done some couple of courses related to, say, for example, biology, or say soil mechanics, or soil sciences, and things like that. So those things are interrelated. So multidisciplinary approach or education prepares the students to work in another department, in another area also, without getting a degree in the particular area, because he has attended a few courses which are interdisciplinary in nature, and he is ready to start working in a particular topic which is cutting across different branches of engineering. Okay, so the take-home message is basically that multidisciplinary education is becoming increasingly important in today's world, where many of the challenges we face are complex and require solutions that draw our expertise from a variety of fields. So by fostering a broader understanding and encouraging critical thinking, multidisciplinary education prepares learners to be well-rounded individuals who can contribute meaningfully to the society. Okay, so after this brief discussion, I think I have a couple of slides, but it will be important if we have some discussion. So let me have some quick discussions, and let us go back. So key principles, those are now I'm not going to, just 1 second. Okay, so let us quickly have the summary. So comprehensive learning approach, because we are integrating arts or humanities with science and engineering, so that is improving the overall cognitive ability of the student. We are having interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary perspective, and with the different type of labs established across different departments, it helps them to go for the skill development and practical learning. And we put a lot of emphasis on the emotional development and social growth of the particular student. And we have flexibility in curriculum, because as I told you, that certain range of credit the student has to do from humanities, science, engineering, etc. So he has the flexibility that he don't have to take only a particular subject, but similar subjects, and earn that particular credit. So there is flexibility in the curriculum. And technology integrated learning, so we will enable them to learn the digital tools like AI, ML, etc., and that will help them to be more employable. And the value-based and ethical education, because the training on ethics is basically a part of every subject, and it is not explicitly taught, but truthfulness, professional ethics, those things are very, very important to be sustainably successful, right? And the global and local relevance, because if we do something which is important for the local community, that may not be the complete learning. If we do something which will be having a globally accepted parameters, that might be very, very meaningful for the particular student's learning. And assessment beyond exams, especially the project-based learning, and all these things are very, very important. Presentation skills, communication skills. Okay, so our final hope that professors should be having passions because it needs a lot of hard work, and we have to devote a lot of time, but we have to continue the passion so that the students will get the benefit out of that, their whatever ideas coming in their mind, they will get a platform to implement that. And from the students' point of view, they should have an inquisitive mind, and to implement these in a country where we have a very, very large population, we should have sustained government support, not only central government but also state government. And as I told you, that the teaching learning center is very, very important for implementing all those perspectives of the government for the benefit of the students. So government support is very, very essential. So with this, let me thank you for your patience, and I'll be happy to take questions from you. Anybody who would like to share something about his own institute or college? Okay, if not, then probably we can stop now, because I think you have another session of 3 hours from 4:30. So, but anyway, you can reach to me. Probably you have my email ID also, but let me write it for you also. Okay, so okay, in the last slide I have my email ID, then my web page and Google Scholar profile. You can see my research area and all these things, but you can directly go through IIT-BHU website. If you have any plan to collaborate or any kind of doubt, you can send me emails. Okay, with that, all the best. So I'll just stop now. Okay. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Thank you, sir.